Heyo, so on my journey of trying out new things that I have in this room, like just to try to end up using them, I came across these when I was trying to look for those Hello Kitty markers. And these are brush tip acrylic paint markers. Now, yes, cringe, I did get them at Hobby Lobby, but I had a coupon and Michael's does not have these. And I don't really trust Temu, so as much as I hate Hobby Lobby, I think I got these for like $10, which isn't bad at all. So like I used the Hello Kitty one, I'm gonna swatch them on this paper because yeah, these do have swatches on the back, but I want to see what they're like. And I'm just realizing that I never actually opened these. I think they came like that. These might have been a return item. I will say first, they don't have the color names on the barrel, but they do have a nice brush tip. And I don't like that they're out of color order. Ooh, watercolor palette. I'm gonna swatch them real quick and we'll see from there. So like the Hello Kitty markers, they have some very strong colors, and I think it's hilarious that this one on my end just seems through the little viewfinder. Looks so neon, and it's kind of neon. And they also don't bleed through the paper. That's a permanent marker. They do have a little bit of a smell, and blending is a little iffy. Like this one took a bit. I tried testing some blending here, but they're not crazy opaque. Like I also put yellow over purple. Colors kind of match. Not really. Maybe. Not really. Like this is cool gray. That's kind of like a green gray. I mean, for $10, I like them. And since they go down so well on paper, I'm gonna try them on this thick piece of cardboard. I'm pretty sure this is some stabilizing cardboard from some Bailey J prints I had ordered in the past, but it's nice and thick. Like, that's a lot of wiggle force. So I think I'm going to sketch on this. And the last time I used paint markers on this channel was when I did Lucifer, the drag queen of Lucifer Morningstar from Hazbin Hotel. And looking back on it now, I kind of hate it. So I'm going to redraw it better on this. Just straight sketch onto this. No scratch pads or nothing. And then I'll jump in with these, which I think I'm going to like better because they don't have that chewy nib. And I just scribbled over this paper and it didn't chew it up. It does stink. I'm going to jump right into this because I am so freaking excited to use these paint markers. Alright, so like I said, I've decided to draw on the cardboard because it is thick. It's very warm toned, so the whole thing will have a tone shift to it. Like kind of like when you do it underpainting. You know, instead of underpainting something, I'm just recycling this piece of cardboard. And also, it's recycling, so yay, we love to recycle in this house. And I also just really like the tone aesthetic of cardboard. Don't ask me why, I just do. I just think it looks cool. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a redraw of my Lucifer, who is about a year old by now. And it's not just because the last time I drew paint markers, I drew Lucifer. There is a deeper meaning behind me wanting to do this redraw, and this is a very, I guess you would say, petty story. Pettiness, doing things out of spite, and mental health are just like huge factors in my art anyway. I find I do the best stuff when I'm depressed. That's really shitty to say, but it's true. When I'm being petty, like wanting to stick it to someone, I am with this kind of, and I'll get to that in a minute. Or just when I'm not feeling too good, I just do what I want to draw because it makes me feel better. So that's where I go with this. So I'm not going to say this person's name, but I'm just going to say that her and I used to be friends, kind of. Like we were friends on DeviantArt, and she was more so friends with my partner, and then she just like went downhill so fast it got weird. I'll explain that in the story. And like I said, I don't want to say this person's username because I guess she technically is kind of famous. Not like Bailey J famous for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. Like it's one of those if you know things, like Thick Baldy from Baldy's Basics, and that's all I'm gonna say. I randomly thought about her because we used to be friends, like I said, my partner too, and we, like, my partner and I were just like on call one day talking about something, and she was brought up, and it was like, we were like, oh my god, like, yeah, this person we kind of forgot about. Like, oh, remember when she did this? Remember when she did that? And I was like, do you remember when she denied being into incest as a fetish, like publicly, and then sent me a DeviantArt note by quote unquote by mistake of Cuphead and a Mugman incest child, as if the two brothers had an incest child together? My partner was like, no, that happened? And I'm like, yeah, that happened, and that screenshot is on my old computer, which I'm not digging up, but I swear to god that happened. And I was like, why are you sending me this, girl? And she was like, oh, I didn't mean to, it was an accident, and then like turns around and publicly denies incest children from her part. And I was like, okay, go off. Just in general, like, she just slowly got like more and more transphobic and technically homophobic in terms of a fetishization. Like, if you know the art piece I was talking about hers before. Sorry, my washing machine is going absolutely bananas. Then you would know that she had the style for drawing cis men, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but this is just the way I perceive it. Cis men with giant curves, slim waist, and the biggest hips you have ever seen. Almost like she wanted this cis man to either be a trans man, but without giving it the term trans man, or a woman. And it was kind of like weird. Like we were all like, what the hell? And OCs that she had, because listen, I have OCs. Yes, some of them are over the top design wise, but she had OCs that were over the top, obnoxiously gay, like bad stereotype gay. And the best example I've ever had of this is if I made an OC who was a black man who only ate fried chicken, watermelon, and drank Kool-Aid and listened to rap music, I would be deemed as a racist. So why make an OC that's over the top, flamboyant, hypersexual, super feminine? Why is that not called homophobic? I mean, it is. It 100% is. But she denied it. And it wasn't just one OC. It was every OC and every adaptation of fan art that was like that. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I even called her out on this on an old YouTube comment like years and years ago. Somebody had posted something about her like, hey, like, what the fuck is this? And I just found it on my own and I was like, hey, like, I have personal experience with this girl, and I made that point exactly, and people were like, yeah, you're right. But she actually sees it and messages my partner saying that they need to leave me because I'm abusive, because I'm the abusive one, I'm controlling. And Steph was like, no. Like, this girl says that I'm manipulative, I'm abusive, I control Steph. And Steph's like, I'm not breaking up with her. Well, then this other girl's like, well, then you need to tell her to stop saying stuff about me. So she wants me to not be abusive and controlling, but turns around and wants my partner to control me. Like, no, that's so backwards. And it's not like I was going out of my way to bully the girl. I was literally just saying, hey, listen, drawing gay and trans stereotypes without proper representation is trans and homophobic. I would know my partner is trans, my brother is trans, and I'm gay. So whatever, like, I was even like, what the hell? And this was all of this before her most famous stuff. And like I said, Baldy's Basics, that's all you need to know. But yeah, then she turns around and blocks me on every platform, even before I knew that she was on that platform, because I was an abusive bully, and apparently I was going to go out of my way to bully her, all because I called her out for being transphobic. So that was fun, I guess. But whatever. Anyway, this isn't about that. I say is I made it like a 5-minute rant about it. But we thought of her, and I'm not too proud of this. I mean, I say that, but we've all done it, let's be real. I did some cyber stalking, and I did find her on an app, I'm not going to say which one, that was public, and her obsession and fetish of gay and trans men, without calling them gay or trans men, well, calling them gay, not calling them trans men, is still going on strong, man. It's still going on. Also, I'm just gonna throw this out there, is that one of her biggest hyperfixations right now is Has Been Hotel, which is why I drew this, but get to that one moment. So one of her biggest ships from Has Been Hotel is, I don't know what the ship is called, but it's Adam and Lucifer, which I'm like, okay, go off. But there's also artwork of Adam's son Abel and Saint Peter. Okay, sure. Now here's my problem. I can definitely see this as CP. I'm not going to say the word. I don't want to get banned. If you know CP, you know what I'm talking about. And even if this isn't CP, Abel is portrayed as a child, which is what lolly men, like people who, like the guys who are like, oh, I watch lolly, like it's not a child, it's an adult dressed as a child. It's still focusing on children. It's weird. But the fact that she had reposted art of Abel, who is perceived, in my perspective, as a child, sexually with Saint Peter, I was like, that's kind of like weird. Like, you're fucking weird. So on top of being a creep, possible pedophile, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, I just remember now, also racist. I don't know if you remember that old Steven Universe art book, or maybe it was some post from one of the members on the team. They had posted that character Concrete, which everyone was like, hey, that's kind of racist, blackfacey looking. And the creator even came out and said, yeah, this does look very racist. This girl defended that character to hell and back, and that should have been like my red flag number one. But whatever, got way off track, and this is almost done. So she decided to draw Adam as a drag queen, which is, You do you, girl. I drew Lucifer as a drag queen, but that Adam as a drag queen absolutely reminded me that I drew Lucifer, so that's why I wanted to redraw Lucifer. Maybe I'm just petty. I don't care, and I would never ever put down another artist like this, but I feel like she's such an awful person. You would send, like, this is the kind of girl that would take a screenshot of you saying, hey, I don't really like your art style, but I think you can improve. And she would send her white knights after you, like that kind of girl. So part of me really just did this to be petty, to be like, oh, this is a redraw because mine looks better than it did last year. You know, like, this girl just pisses me off. But that was like a huge story for something I said was not a big deal. Anyway, my process, I just sketched and inked on the cardboard. I only went over with the ink once because I knew I was going to have to acrylic paint over top of it and then re-ink it. And I did change some things, like the skirt and the dress used to be white and now they're like this light pink. Some of the lighter colors were more transparent, like the light pink was kind of transparent, the white was transparent. You had to do multiple layers, which is how I got some nice blending. Beautiful, beautiful. So some stuff stayed the same, some didn't, but I still really like the way this came out. And I think I'm gonna make this a print on my Etsy because I love the way she came out. Like, girl, she is a slay. And I do like these markers. Some of them have a smell, some of them are more liquidy. They don't chew the paper. You know, for like 10 bucks, like I said, they're nice. Also, don't shop at Hobby Lobby, not worth it. But since Lucifer was so colorful, I just made the background this brownish color, which was a little warmer than the actual, like, more on the red side of warm than the yellow side of warm than the cardboard. And I kind of regretted it a little bit, so that's why I added those yellow ochre spots, redid the outline, and then went back over it with a white gel pen to crisp up the highlights and add some more dots, and it is done. And she is so freaking pretty. I absolutely love her. We stand a queen in this house, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Also, please do not go out and attack that girl. Like, I know I said I can't stand her guts and I think she's a horrible person, but I'm not going to be the person to send somebody on a witch hunt. Like, that's not just me. I am above her standards by just not, first of all, not even saying her name. Like, I could have called her out so many times, but I just didn't. Yeah, just left it at that. So this is new Lucifer. She looks so much better, and I'm going to leave it at that, go upstairs and cook some dinner. So thank you guys so much for watching. Link to my Etsy to support my shop and get prints of this eventually, probably next week, is down below. Same with my Instagram to give me a follow to see when those prints are going to go up. All right, I'll see you guys next week.